Hey folks, this is Dr. Tay, and today I'll be bringing you information on holistic health and nutrition. And today's topic is on yoga and your bone health. Not too long ago, I was at Lorraine's workshop. She is a yoga instructor, and she is doing yoga based on Dr. Lawrence Fishman's research and work on how yoga uh, helps accumulate or increase your bone density. And so let's dive right in. All right. So this is the page on yogaville.org. And this was published on April 14th, 2018 by Dr. Lauren Fishman himself. So Dr. Lauren Fishman is a yoga practitioner who happens to be a medical doctor. And he works at the director of Manhattan Physical Medicine and Rehab on Physiatrist at Columbia University. And there is a pilot study back in 2005 that yoga increased the bone density for people who practice yoga. And that led to a more thorough study from 2005 to 2015. It was a longitudinal study for about 10 years, and it is based on 12 poses. And this is Dr. Lauren Fishman, and he goes over like things like tree pose, triangle pose, warrior two pose, side angle pose, revolved triangle pose, locust pose, bridge pose, and the list goes on. And there are 12 poses in total. And people who have practiced this yoga on a consistent basis, and they did the before and after, and they showed that the bone mineral density increased overall for those people who did practice. And this is the research when they first did the study. And it tells you that, more than 200 million people over the world, they show that bone density decreases. And there's this thing, the way the parathyroid hormone works is that if you don't have enough calcium floating in your system, then the parathyroid hormone stimulates the body for your bones to release more calcium into your bloodstream. And your calcium is not just used for your bones, it's used for other chemical processes. And one of the most important things is that uh, the heart uses calcium for the contractions and other minerals for different types of relaxing the heart, and it fuels the body so that the heart can go on. And so if you don't have enough calcium in your system, eventually your body keeps on releasing um, calcium from your bones, and then you become osteoporotic or osteopenia. And this study showed that for people who are 68 years old, over a period of time, and when they did practice yoga, the conclusion of the study basically comes down to that yoga appears to be an effective way to build bone mineral density, especially after menopause for women, because if you're a woman and you hit that range, your bone density becomes dropping really, really, really fast. And the 10-year study, which is right here in the geriatric rehab, based on it showed that for a 10-year study for 741 internet recruited volunteers, they were measured of their bone mineral density before the study. And afterwards, the conclusion was that yoga appears to raise the bone mineral density in the spine and femur safely. So you could read more about these two research. I'll post it in the comment in the description below. And basically, it's not just yoga, just overall exercise. And the science behind how this would work is that it's based on what they call Wolff's Law. Wolff's Law is that the more pressure that you apply on your bones, the more calcium will be embedded into that area. So boxers who constantly box, their bones on their fists, there's more calcium buildup. And people who are Muay Thai fighters who do a lot of shin kicks and constantly kicking in that shin area, the bones begin to become stronger. So if you do a lot of finger push-ups on your fingers, you'll build up more muscles. I mean, more uh, increased bone density. And this is basically the science behind it. And then you need to understand several factors such as the calcium that goes into your body. And then you got to have a combination of vitamin D, which helps the absorption of calcium, and vitamin K. And vitamin K helps to create what they call osteoblasts. And osteo is another word for bone. Osteoblasts, what they do is that these guys, they're like the cells that helps put the calcium onto your bones. So you need several things. And that's why it is important to have a lot of calcium in your diet. That's why I always recommend calcium is in a lot of green leafy vegetables. And to get more calcium out of it, you want to squeeze lemon into your green into your greens so that your body can so that they become more bioavailable. And I'll do a separate video on all the different types of calcium that's out there. There is calcium carbonate, there's calcium bicarbonate, there's calcium citrate, there is calcium lactate, which is one chemical reaction away from becoming calcium bicarbonate. And then there are chiral calcium carbonate, bicarbonate, or for every single one of them. Chiral means that if my right hand is the chemical structure of a calcium molecule, and this one is another calcium molecule, and they're chiral, they're mirror images, and one of them is more absorbable than the other. And oftentimes, when life like algae or um, calcium structures that is absorbed into, like, let's say, bones of a fish, and if you were to eat those bones because they're very, very soft, those are more bioavailable than calcium carbonate that comes from rocks. So that's a whole different topic that I'll get into in the future video about calcium. In the meantime, I want to focus on that these 12 postures are not the only 12 postures, but these are the 12 postures that people did focus on. And the more you're able to do different yoga moves in different ranges of motion on a consistent basis, and the key thing is consistency. If you practice yoga once in a while, that's not good. And let's say it's not even yoga. The more you do impact-based activities, that increases your bone density overall. For people who don't practice yoga, and if they were walkers in their neighborhood, I would recommend walking about 6 miles every single day, right? Get that 12,000 step in. And if you were to constantly walk, that walking activity, because there's impact from the heel of the foot all the way to your toes as you're walking, and the impact is shaking your body, and that would build ultimately more calcium into your body. People who are on the elliptical, when they're constantly moving without the impact-based walking, those people would not gain this benefit because there is no impact. And those things are good for people who are, I guess, who are on rehab and who have like hip or knee or ankle, wherever the joint has severe arthritis and they need to work towards that. Like swimming, uh, there isn't a lot of impact base. It lowers that, and some people need in aquatic based therapies to rehab without. I guess those people who need that are who have severe arthritis and are in a lot of pain and need to rehab that situation. So, uh, working out on a consistent basis with weights also increases. So those are the things that are needed. So I will post more videos like this about the research and science, and I'll post these videos so that you could to have all the postures here about yogic health and how these 12 postures really help people gain increasing bone density. And this is especially for women that I recommend. If you're around that menopause age, it's better than doing something. And I'm not just recommending yoga. I also recommend walking, hiking, some sort of weight training, light weight training, in order to build muscles, so that your bone uh, density or mineral density increases. All right. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week for future videos on like this. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you have any comments on what type of videos you want me to cover. I'd be happy to do that. All right. Take care. Bye bye.